talking just on the side. Mercenaries could technically form companies that have their heraldry, and you could just incorporate under a noble or as part of some country where you basically get the I am an official organization, I agree to pay taxes for my income kind of thing. Harmon could just be his own separate entity. That is the possibility. It doesn't mean he's technically beholden to some authority for his action in the end, but who's going to? So yeah, Theta suggesting he could just pull something into his backstory to explain that. Or force him to spend 10 experience to explain it.
Well, so what gift would that be for? Or you're like taking the mercenary career, I guess?
Oh, I guess that could be it. Sure. Theta, what were you suggesting you would have to take?
Because he's not technically a mercenary career-wise, right? I shouldn't have the...
Yeah, former soldier sellsword.
Right.
It's in the text right there.
Yeah, I'm back. I just never know how much detail people want to this kind of medievalism type jazz.
Right. And I think I was just going over. It's entirely possible Harmon is a one-man company.
Well, he would have to have titles. See, like
titles, papers, some sort of agreement, or a sponsor, or some authority he's beholden to. Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's this cool thing. I mean, like, if you lived in Britain, they still think nobility is a big deal because Sir Elton John and getting knighted and that kind of stuff. And there's always like, I always like to point two documents: the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence has this like ridiculous claim that we are all endowed, that we are all created equally by the Creator. I mean, that's just preposterous, right? Everyone knows that nobles are better than commoners, right?
Mm.
But of course.
Right. So Ironclaw takes place before the Declaration of Independence, before the idea of equality, before the Third French Revolution. Before all of that, like the idea that everyone is created equal and the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity. So you'd have this era where the nobles are throwing their weight around. That doesn't show up a lot in tabletop role-playing games because a lot of them are, we're now in the JRPG era of some punk kid is destined to save the world, and so a bunch of teenagers run out and kill all the monsters or stop Diablo or whatever.
Right. The focus is usually on these sort of things.
Right. So, and I don't know what people's escapist fantasy is. I'm personally fascinated by the idea of trying to work in these systems to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the record as hating fun.
Very true. Speaking of hating fun, I guess we are all here.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting my stuff together here.
Yep.
Is there anything anyone would like to do in the remaining hours of the afternoon or night before the day that the tournament begins?
Well, we did want to actually find Arthur. So we could actually inquire around. Because a noble coming into town and spending any amount of money on himself, or even having a tent or staying in an inn, would still be something people would be aware of. And if you ask, like, oh yeah, what about the raccoon one that came in? That also narrows it down quite a bit. So Anushka, you have gossip as well, don't you?
I do.
Let's go gossiping together. I would have
Uh,
2d6 on mind and gossip. What about you?
And we're in Saldra again, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I do not have local knowledge of Saldra.
This is what I had set up because I think that this is also a pounding the pavement type scenario. I was thinking it's a quota. It'd be a lot of successes to find him. You do make some good points about narrowing it down. So I'm bumping some off of this quota, but I was thinking mind and body and searching and gossip versus 3.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you got a lot to work with. And if you're doing
Well,
it as a group, you can, yeah.
I have searching, so it's almost like finding people to give them messages is my job. Let's see what else I have. I don't really have anything else that's appropriate to this.
Plus 2d6 searching, plus the d6 gossip. This is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a big roll.
That is a whopping 3 from me. My favorite use of gossip is finding addresses, not finding people.
My favorite use of searching is tracking. I will re-roll a d6.
Pointedly tracking.
I not get anything.
Right. Pointedly tracking and not looting.
Yes.
Okay, so total looks like I see 3 and 5 total?
Yeah.
1, 2,
So we
3.
go pounding the pavement, or
Okay.
I don't know what you call pounding the sky.
Pounding the sky. Yeah, right.
Hey,
you can cover
that's
more
my band
ground
name.
that way.
Cover
Pounding
more
the
air
sky.
this way.
Cloud pounding. I like it. Okay. Yeah, so you guys, you spread out. You spend the rest of the day and a good chunk of the night asking around and searching. But unfortunately, although you do hear maybe rumors here or there that might suggest that Arthur has been in town, you can't find any concrete evidence. You can continue to search on the subsequent days of the tournament if you'd like, and you might be able to get there. Right now, you're about halfway there. So,
Right. So I think that's definitely going to be my goal. I'm nocturnal. I spend the night doing this, and I'll probably sleep when everyone actually fights.
cool. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. You know what I'm going to do? I'll give you a bonus D8 to your next check for that if you're going to stay up all night rather than just rolling it right now. But all right. So the day of the the day of the tournament arrives. People are up early and there's just crowds in the streets. Delicious confections are being purchased at stands. There's there's music being played over the crowds at every street corner. And as day breaks, the initial parade begins, and the champions, the tournament contestants, parade around the Shalon Sasaldra track before returning to their tents, and the first pairings, the first duels have begun. It seems like these duels are all going to be hand-to-hand combat with blunted weapons. And what I want to do, I don't want to run a ton of combats for this. I do want to abstract it a little bit, but I still want you guys to use your martial expertise. So we're going to start by saying that Connor... Oh, you know, the other thing that I really should have done here is come up with a bunch of Word-Apply family names. That would have been smart. Yeah, a check to impress rather than a whole bunch of fights. Here's what I'm thinking. So in cases... All right. Okay, so Connor, your first match, you're one of the earlier fights in the day, and your first match is against a horse flying the Boulanger colors. He seems like an upright and at least seasoned in tournament fighting at the very least. The crowds seem to favor him as they're tossing flowers onto the ring as he steps out. From the way he walks, you can tell that he probably knows what he's doing, but you doubt that he's seen real combat. Nothing like the scale that you have handled, even within the last year of your adventures. So you're fairly sure that you're going to be able to defeat him. So this roll is not going to be in order to see whether or not you fail. It's going to see whether or not you sustain an injury in the course of this bout, and also to see how well you are able to win over the crowd during the course of the bout as well. So
I'm going to be the one. I'm going to hate to be the one to teach you humility.
All right, let me pull up my stat block here. Okay. So for this first bout, Potter, even though he's seen a lot of action, there's something he's got kind of like you can tell that his fingers are trembling as he's helping you don your armor. It's excitement, it's not fear for a change, but he's nervously asking you questions like, do you think you're going to beat him? Do you think that he mentions the name of some famous like legendary knight. He thinks that person's going to be here at the tournament. He does a mile a minute, and it seems like he's already forgotten his question as you answer it, and he's asking you another one. He says, are you going to win the tournament, sir?
I'm going to make every effort.
He nods. That's a good enough answer for him. And as you step out into the field, you get a good number of some polite applause from those in attendance. You can see that this is the first time that the Lever family has been represented at this tournament. So yeah, you're not really like a known quantity to these people. Why don't you give me an attack roll with your melee combat body dice, any other dice that you would typically include in an average attack. You're going to be rolling against 2d8 for this stalwart horse champion.
I'm going to include veteran for the rare chances where I'm aiming. It is going to be labeled.
Sounds good.
No tactics, because he seemed like they will be one-on-one fights mostly.
Correct.
So a 9 or 12.
All right. This guy will bow to you. He'll draw his sword. He'll come in for a couple tentative. This tournament is going to last 3 days. So he'll come in for
This guy for a bit.
Sorry?
Connor like taunt the guy by goading him. We'll goad him on as he fights him.
Yeah, there's definitely some like play, some like practice thrusts and parries. You're giving them a show. In fact, with your successes, you could do pretty much. You put on a pretty good show. There's a moment where you maybe feign like this guy has a fighting chance, but it's very clear to you that he does not. And when you decide to, when you do finally land the blow that will cause him to yield, you can choose. It's your choice. Do you want to humiliate this guy, or do you want to give him some sort of like an honorable defeat?
I'm going to give him an honorable defeat.
All right. There are some polite cheers from the crowd. Obviously, you have proven yourself to be a contender in this event. And you get a respectful bow and kind of a salute from this guy as he gets back up, as you help him back to his feet. He should have a name. Let's give him a name. Young Kiki. No. I like this. Actually, Blaine's great. Angus Young. Ooh, I like that. But we'll use Angus Young for another contestant. That'll be who you're fighting, Harmon. This is going to be Blaine Boulanger. Okay. All right. Before Harmon's match, he's going to hire 10 master level entertainers to announce him and entertain the crowd for all 3 days of the tournament. I mean, that's definitely possible. You can find them. They're in town. Let's see. We'll call these like skilled entertainers. To like 2 denarii a day. 90 would be the cost. Oh, at master level. Then yeah, if you've got the money and you did the math, then go for it. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about Harmon and Harmon's first match. Harmon, you are up against Angus Young. He is he's a hedge knight who's being sponsored by the Enclume family, who you have had run-ins with in the past. This guy seems kind of like a brute. He's a barrel-chested boar, and he seems to have the hearts of at least a certain part of the crowd who are the soccer hooligans of this particular event. And as you step out, you have these well, I guess to the entertainers, you definitely come out with some kind of fanfare, right? Oh yeah? Well, now I'm tempted to try to reuse that character, but damn, okay. Well, you want to roll? Why don't you roll for the entertainers? I guess it would be
3d8.
performance. 3d8? Yeah. What would a good body and
Why
performance?
did you hire
will
an
and performance?
entertainer?
Because
just
he
did.
has no presence at all and is overcompensating with the money he has.
I'm just happy you guys are spending money. I always get nervous when players stockpile all their loot. So
Well, if it makes you feel any better, there's nothing to spend money on in Ironclaw except hiring people to do stuff like this.
yeah,
And battle wagons.
and battle wagons.
I mean, you could just assume that there's 10 entertainers and they're all assisting each other. That's basically a 4 or 5 success. Yeah, if they take their roads, and usually it's you have one lead when they assist each other. No, 10 entertainers, it's an impressive showing.
Yeah, it's an event. Angus kind of like
how did you find 10 or how did you find 3d8 entertainers? But anyway, yeah.
It's,
that's
it's a
an
festival.
adventure in and of itself.
Yeah, maybe he spent the rest of the night while you guys were searching and went into town and just started paying people. yeah, doctor, you can buy some of that good herb.
I mean, I guess there are a bunch of entertainers hanging around because it's a festival. So he just said, "Hey, I've got money," and they showed up. And sorry, speaking as someone who works in the entertainment industry, the idea of I just hired 10 people and they were all great.
That's
It's like
stretching believability a little.
Game.
Man, what good is this money if you can't
Right.
get
So
what you
yeah,
paid for?
apparently had enough money to throw around for all of that. So yeah, no, he hires a bunch of guys and they all entertain, and
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
it is. It's fantastic. He's got the entire crowd intrigued and engaged, and then he makes his appearance, and there's sort of gasps of shock, maybe awe. It could be for just your large stature and impressive gait, or it could be for the weird stark contrast that of Harmon's visage as compared to the very flamboyant entrance and heraldry that he had, or not heraldry, but yeah. So that opening maybe didn't really match what he looks like when he marches out onto the fields. But one way or another, you've got people's attention. Yeah, he's not really maybe like the best at parties, but he's good at what he does, right? So anyway, we're gonna do the same thing. This Angus guy seems very confident in his own abilities. He doesn't flinch as you walk out, and he kind of You know, he stretches out his shoulders. He picks up the blunted sword that he carries, and he's going to charge at you. So let's have it. Let's have your attack roll. It's going to be verse 2d8. We're going to see. Oh, okay, and there's the 9. I was going to be like, oh man, this guy gets a lucky shot on you. But no. You're handily going to be able to defeat him. It's only one margin of success, so I'm not going to say that you have a lot of options in terms of making it like flashy or impressive or embarrassing him or anything like that. You basically knock him out pretty quick in the fight. And there are many people in the stands who are impressed. And obviously, you can tell that a lot of money is changing hands. There are a lot of bets are going your way. And balloons for the kids! Nice. I love it.
So what if I bet my money on Harmon?
Hey, if you want to place bets, now's your opportunity.
Yeah, before the fight begins.
Yeah, you would have wanted to get in before the odds were. Yeah.
And it's going to be for a bet of 15 denarii on Harmon.
Okay. Is that 15 to win? I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. You already won this one. But yeah, you can double your money if you want to, or you can let it ride. And if Harmon wins the tournament, you could quadruple your money.
Yes, to win the tournament.
To win the tournament. Okay, that'd be 60 denarii coming your way if he does. If you lose. Yeah, it's going to be like... I limped away, but you know what? I brought the I made a little bit of a side bet. Okay, so that's how the first day's bouts go for you guys. You're able to witness the other fights. There are a couple interesting contenders here or there. On the first night, on the first day, you see two of the mystery knights, I guess, the anonymous knights, have their first bouts. One of them is clad in green, is obviously a tall and well-muscled female lioness, so you're fairly sure that they are not Arthur. And they handily beat their opponents. The second knight to make an appearance goes by the moniker the Checkered Knight. And they are a small and lithe figure. He's about the height of Arthur, but actually he's a little bit shorter than Arthur is. And so even though it's hard to tell exactly what manner of animal he is, you're pretty sure that he is not a raccoon. And this individual also is to best his challenger with great aplomb. He does so, and he bows elaborately to the people who are cheering for him. And that is going to summarize the first day's events. Let's see here. Okay. As night falls, the doctor awakens.
I probably wake up like midday and like do other things, but yeah, when night comes, I will go ahead and do another one of my checks, and I believe Anushka, you're going to do some too, aren't you?
I really don't have anything else planned.
Yep, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4 for me this time.
Nice. Very nice.
Getting there. All Anushka needs is exactly 1 success.
It's true.
Hey, we did with 2.
Hey, very nice. Okay.
Well, I have 2, yeah.
All right, you ask around. There is, in addition to the gambling scene that goes on behind these tournaments. There is also a small community of fans and groupies for these individual nights. There's an intense sort of like a tribal fan battle that goes on at bars and taverns, and is sort of waged on the stages of traveling performers as well, claiming that one or the other is more expensive or handsome, etc., etc. And some people even use an opportunity to sneak into the tents of these champions and steal things that they can sell for them, like fan merchandise, or also to the most expensive and illustrious of these things is the secret identity of the mystery knights. Some of them get spoiled fairly early. Some of them it's obvious to those watching that so and so, he's returning knight, he's done well, or he's a veteran. Some of them are so famous that all it takes is to see their, the color of their armor to guess like, it's that guy. But there are people and you found one rather disreputable looking weasel who offers to sell you the identities of at least 3 such knights for a small price of 16 denarii.
16 denarii? Well, that's outrageous. I'm not even a fan of these people.
He says, neither am I. I hate... who could care less about these, these stuffed
I
shirts?
bet all my money away, so I can't pay this.
Right. Noshka, do you have any money left?
No, I'm afraid I am destitute. I've been spending all my time looking for information rather than working.
You have nothing at all left?
Nope, just all these weapons.
Well, tell you what, you're in for a lucky deal because I am a doctor by trade. Wouldn't you know it? And while I may not have all of the money, I do have some calming medicine guaranteed to soothe the nerves of any who drink it. I will throw this in to make up for the difference.
Are you talking about the sedatives that you found from Rodolfo?
Yup. I've been all done to those. I could chloroform somebody.
You are basically selling this guy roofies, but he's very interested. His interest is piqued, and he'd say like, well, I don't normally, undersell. In fact, I would say 16 is a fair price for what some of these fans would do for this information, but I must say that these tinctures do intrigue me, so oh, what the hell, you got yourself a deal. I must say that if you go around spreading this information too far and wide, if my other associates catch wind of it, you could be in for a rough time, so perhaps keep it for yourself. We'd hate to saturate the market, as it were.
Oh, I'm not into exposing everyone's secrets. I just have my own business. So I will go ahead, pay up. He has the calming medicine, and it's no longer in my inventory. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Excellent.
He held on to that stuff for a while, but it paid off in the end. Here is what you know.
If only I didn't spend all my money wildly moments before.
Sedatives get more powerful over time, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's only been several weeks? I'm sure they're still perfectly effective, with no side effects whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, it's his problem now, not yours.
Yeah, it's his problem.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So, here's what he can tell you. The Blue Knight is Sir Dorian. He is a Fox veteran, and he is being sponsored by the Chassue blooded family, obviously on the wane, but he has been a fan favorite in years past. The Yellow Knight is an old dog named Sir Irwin. This was kind of bullshit. You actually already knew that. You had heard it while you were poking around and gossiping, so this is common information. You kind of burned that you had to pay for it. Mm-hmm. But lastly, you hear that the Red Knight, an interesting upset, is actually, rumors are, the handsome young raccoon of the Lavure family. It is a mystery why he would not enter under his family's name, but this has added to the intrigue for the young female fans of the Red Knight, who, has said that his armor is quite handsome.
I see. Well, this is good information then.
Some of it, anyway. The information you were looking for.
Exactly. Well, if we wanted to ruin everyone else's reputation, we could do that now, but that's not what we're in the business for. So, Anushka, I think we found our man. Now we just need to figure out where the Red Knight is actually spending their time at.
Yeah.
Well, we've already been pounding the pavement quite a bit, so even if we didn't find someone, I imagine from all of our gossiping. I mean, first of all, we could have saved a lot of effort if we just knew where the Red Knight's tent was. I'm assuming they do not have a tent or pavilion at the tournament. Is that correct?
Well, no, they actually do.
There we go.
You find that they have been sponsored by the Crinier family. It's not one of the larger tents, but you can
Well, we have to pay that
locate
guy
it.
money. We could just hung around the tent and waited for the guy to come into it.
I mean, you could do that. You didn't know that he was the Red Knight until now, but yeah, now you know
Yeah,
who
well, we
he is
didn't
and where he's
know-
staying.
So we didn't know we were looking for the Red Knight until now. Yeah, so we
Exactly.
could just go ahead and hang around his tent and wait for him to show up.
Mhm.
I mean, now that we know we're looking for the Red Knight, I mean, that's easy.
I suppose
I
we
know
should
where that
first.
is.
Yeah, I suppose we should first at least tell Sir Connor. He'll be interested to know, and we should ask what we should do. We are only to bring him back safely. Nothing said he couldn't participate with the tournament to the end, and we'll be here all day anyway.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
if he's participating in the tournament, he's not safe.
This is true. But
Especially
Connor,
when
then,
the tournament is in the tournament.
I understand that you perhaps are very invested in this tournament as well as Sir Harmon, and you're not intending to leave until it's over. And
I
it's
don't
very likely
care about
he
this.
isn't either. I doubt you're going to talk your brother out of it, are you?
No, probably not.
I didn't think so. Might I suggest then that if we go and speak with them, I may offer my services to make sure that he is well and truly safe and uninjured.
Yes, just insist that you be paid for your services.
Oh, I certainly will.
Smiles.
Would you like to attend the conversation or keep his
Yes.
identity a secret and not go yourself?
There is something I need to tell him.
Then might I suggest taking up this robe?
We're doing the stealth in.
Yeah, Connor at least needs to hide his personal identity for this. Otherwise, he spoils the whole thing for everyone else. That is my impression of the scenario here. So not he didn't receive any visitors, it's we don't know who it was. And there's also that weird person who's been walking around. We don't know who he is. He's a nobody. Large new arms. It's too large for him, fitted with pillows.
Yep, there
They
you
hold
go.
it like the kid from Christmas Story.
I'm just thinking the same thing.
Right.
Can't put his arms down.
So does Connor need to do any sort of deceit here?
I mean, remind me what the actual intent is. Is he trying to disguise? He just wants to make sure that people don't recognize him, the tournament entrant, getting into the tent, right?
Correct.
I think that you did get a little bit of notoriety from your first bout there, Connor. So I would like to get a deceit or a performance check from you, but you're only going to need one
Deceit.
success.
That would be will and deceit.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
success.
There's your
There you go.
success. All right. You managed to adopt, maybe you're copying the doctor and how he kind of waddles around from place to place, but you
Perfect.
managed.
Now also chant these prayers. Yes, good.
This is a perfect opportunity to discuss with you the virtues of Salumer. And
Have you considered devoting more of your life to the church, Connor?
so,
I gave it the office.
all right. So the two of you mingle your way into the fairgrounds that surround these tents, and you can tell in many of the tents there are parties going on. The entourages and lackey champions throw nightly feasts, nightly festivities for them, and even if the champions themselves occasionally try to turn in early, in many cases the party still rages outside. And there is one such party outside the tent of the Red Knight. Of course, the interior of it is closely guarded by his lackeys. And now that you guys approach, you recognize some of them from the castle in Fermarouge, where Potter had his fateful duel. Although they don't seem to have recognized any of you. One of them, a stout raccoon, insinuates himself between you and the perimeter of this tent and says, "Now hold on there. This is the Red Knight's tent. Obviously, we can't have any visitors, certainly none so old and boorish as you."
Why, thank you for such a wonderful compliment. I love reminiscing about the fact I'm going to die any day soon. But on a more serious note, I am a doctor, and I am here to offer my services to your master. I am one of discretion, for I myself have no name in value anonymity. And I would never spoil it to anyone else.
All right, they begin chuckling, these guys, and looking at one another. One of them maybe has glanced in Connor's direction, but from your very, very common dress, seems like they have no interest in actually looking you in the eye. They just consider you another healer, right? So
Look my way, I say that would be an ecumenical manner.
So yeah. All right. So when they get over their inside joke, he says, the Red Knight is going to win this tournament. He's going to do it single-handedly and without a scratch on him, so we really have no use for you. Why don't you go peddle your services over to one of the other poor fools?
So you may say, but I have seen those of similar confidence brought low by the greatest of warriors, and are there not great warriors here? Have you ever seen a man's sternum cut straight across, his organs falling out? Have you ever sutured a wound? It's terrible things, and if a man is not treated immediately, they will perish.
All right. This to me seems like mind. So in my notes here, I have mind, presence, and inquiry to intimidate someone. But if you wanted to swap presence for academics, perhaps, since you're detailing gore, like
Yes.
anatomical gore, you may.
I'd like to throw a medicine on that one.
Hey, yeah, that sounds
Guess
good.
this is a negotiation, technically.
Technically, sure.
He becomes a walking warning video.
1, 2,
I'm gonna
3,
show
4.
you
Oh yeah, become like one of those like here's what happens in car accident videos.
Yeah.
Like little Timmy thought it would be safe to drive at 30 miles an hour, but this is what happened to him.
Yep.
Stay safe on the
Scared
roads,
straight.
kids.
Totally. Yeah. As you're describing this gore, they're beginning to look like queasy. And one of them sort of totters off. He's just like, I gotta check on something else. And finally the guy you're talking to says, "Oh, right, fine, Father. You've made your point. Look, I can't promise anything, but as long as you promise to keep your mouths shut, then I could have you see the sir. Perhaps he'd be interested. But I do think you're wasting your time."
Of course. My word is my honor, and my time to waste too.
He says, all right, now. He does the little, like, clamped shut mouth gesture and disappears inside the tent. And a moment later,
I'm gonna look over to Connor and goes like, "Serves them right for calling me old."
I like it. All right. So yeah, he will jerk a thumb inside, and you'll enter in the tent. You can see that the Red Knight you have met before. It is indeed Sir Arthur. He's currently in the company of several young women who are all being their most flirtatious, pouring him a goblet of wine. He's there with several of his other lackeys as well. And as you're closing the distance, he says, obviously this a poor wandering medicine man has not heard of the Red Knight the unkillable immortal. And then his eyes fall on you, Connor, and there's no there's no escaping this. He knows exactly who you are, and his mood darkens considerably. Says, "Huh, I suppose Father finally sent you."
That he did. I've come to ensure that you win this tournament, and then to take you home.
He seems a little surprised at that, and he says, "Well, I intend to win the tournament, and when I do, I intend to return home to Father, having proven our family is no wilting violet, that we have warriors of great skill and cunning. So
Certainly
I
no lack of
suppose.
that with your family these days.
He snorts. You can tell he still has beef with you, Connor. He says, I couldn't help but notice that you have entered the tournament as well.
Yes.
So perhaps we'll have
We
an
will place
opportunity
together.
to have an opportunity to show you my skills firsthand. I look forward to it, although I doubt that. Well, I guess we'll just see. We'll just see what happens.
Still,
So-
I'm not one to impose on fun. But I do have an offer for you to ensure that you return safely as your father desires, if you would hear it out.
Well, any friend of my father's. ...
Yeah. Well, as it so happens, of course, I do possess the light of Salomere, and I can offer to protect you from substantial injury when you enter your fights. Now, were I to do this ordinarily, I would consider it poor form and cheating, as it would grant someone an unfair advantage. However, I do this especially to you on the condition that should you take such a blow, you surrender immediately and prevent yourself from further harm. Of course, the invincible knight should never truly be injured. If I do, however, offer this up to you and proceed as such, and you take such a blow and do not surrender, I guarantee you that I would remit it immediately and allow you to suffer whatever terrible injury is about to befall you. I hope my offer is
Connor just
very
looked on like
clear
taking it
there.
serious.
I care about your safety, not necessarily your honor or your victory.
He will scoff at the implication that he would need such help, and then says, girls, the wine has... Fetch me something a little more potent. This wine is too sweet. And the girls take the hint, and they bail. And once they're
Water
gone, he
for
looks
him.
at you. Yeah, one of these girls looks you up and down like, who's this old guy? You're like an old, creepy version of the Red Knight.
I'm only 30.
But
Oh, yeah, and then Connor just the same, but slightly older.
Right. Okay, so I think I want will and negotiation. And you
Okay.
want to beat 4. You want 5 or better. And I guess you know what, Connor,
Ooh.
you can help here. Can
Versus
you help here?
5.
He really doesn't like you right now, Connor. You're not his best friend.
I would like to throw in medicine for similar points as previously. I am a doctor. I know how these fights go. It would be foolish to assume you would be completely uninjured. Let me tell you why in precise detail.
Okay, you can.
Um,
And you know what?
Best to give him a DA bonus.
Yeah, take a DA bonus from Connor as well. I was debating it, but I think, Connor, you can throw some sort of like familial weight into this.
Yeah. Connor's like, maybe we don't see eye to eye, but he doesn't want to see his brother get hurt.
And I'm
Harmon
gonna
also-
begin by stopping his drinking now.
Harmon also steps in and goes, you think you can beat me? Remind him of that childhood wound. I know Harmon's not there, I'm just teasing. Alright, so I got some good dice, and this is versus 5.
Harmon is right, though. If you did just say you're going to strip Potter of his title, that might shut him up. It's always the option.
1, 2, 3. I do it. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, you do. He sort of tries to throw this off nonchalantly, but he says, fine, I suppose having you there to babysit, or we wouldn't say babysit, but having you in my corner, if it will allow me to continue without too much interference from my father or my meddlesome brother, I suppose I can acquiesce here. So just I'll have you know that it will be quite boring for you. My skill, well, are about to be proven in this tournament. I don't intend to let anyone get even a glancing blow, but I suppose that I agree to your conditions. If it seems that I'm in imminent danger, then I will yield.
Very good. I'm happy to hear it. And of course, I do wish you the best of luck in the fights.
Luck won't be a factor. Unlike some, I was born to do this. He shoots a pointed glare at Connor.
And of course, your father will receive the bill.
Yeah, he just gives you like of course. Talk to my people.
You seem to have forgotten something, Arthur.
Sorry, what was that?
You seem to have forgotten something, Arthur.
I don't believe so.
What are the family words?
You are so old-fashioned. But he will nod, and he'll turn to you and say, "For your service to my family, I will make sure that you are well compensated. And you have my gratitude as well."